It doesn't matter where you are in your career. If you have 1 million followers or if you have like 20 followers, we all struggle with the same things. I think it's important that we start taking accountability. Like, I'm not a victim to my circumstances. This whole thing about I don't have clients, it's the economy. I don't think that this is true. I think the clients are out there, but there's something in your system that is not working. And I think that it's important that we start to reflect on ourselves so we can actually change it.
Being a woman in the tattoo industry, you think it was like harder as a woman?
Yeah, there were a lot of times, especially with clients, where my professional abilities were questioned. There were situations, especially with men, where I was like drawing and they like took my pen and they draw it themselves. I feel like our generation is really like impacted from this older traditional mindsets, hustle the whole time and no one shows like anything vulnerable. I would just love to see more realness in social media.
I grew up as like, yeah, shut the fuck up, go on. You want to achieve this or not? If you want to succeed, it's basically what you need to do. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Mommy I'm Sorry podcast. I'm not even sure if it's called the Mommy I'm Sorry podcast yet, but we're gonna decide on the name. In this podcast, I will introduce you to the world's best tattoo artists. We are talking about the tattoo industry and all tattoo related stuff. And today, I have Mommy I'm Sorry's Muttersöhne's very own Laura, aka Linearnoire, one of the world's leading artists in the concept style, one of our residents in the Cologne shop, and a good friend of mine. Thank you so much for being here. How are you?
Thank you so much. So first of all, thank you so much for having me. It's a big honor. It's a big pleasure. I'm so excited. I'm very good. I'm very excited. It's the first time that I'm doing this. And yeah, I'm just looking forward for a very nice conversation with you.
Amazing. Yes, thank you so much for being here and doing this. And when we started this podcast, I really thought like, oh, does the world need another podcast? But actually, in our industry, in tattoo culture, I think they really need one. We really need one because there are so many topics and issues and struggles that artists have or people in the industry, and nobody is really talking about it and not connecting it. And I really love having you on here because we work together for a couple of years now. First in a relationship of like, you've been a guest artist in the shops, and then later when we opened the Cologne shop, you became a resident, and I'm super happy about that. And I really, really admire your tattoo style because
Thank you so much.
the concept style is like, it evolved over the last probably 10 years. Like some people started it and then through Instagram, it got super popular and a lot of artists developed it. So what would you say defines the concept style? What makes a concept tattoo a concept tattoo?
Oh, that's a very interesting question. I think in general, I would say concept tattoo or conceptual fine line realism always contains of like some part of realistic elements as well as like line work and geometry. But I think it also has a lot of like meaningful like storytelling elements to it. And it's always seeing like the body as a whole. And I feel like it's most of the time like a little like some smaller elements that are like kind of like connected over the whole body area. And yeah, it's just combining a lot of different techniques, a lot of different styles. It also contains like sometimes a little bit of like finite elements, script, abstract elements even. I think this style is really experimentative. And yeah, I just love it.
And what made you choose this style or like develop your own tattoo style into concept style?
Oh, this is actually this is also super interesting because when I started tattooing, it was like I kind of like needed to learn every style. So actually, I started with like neo-traditional and very illustrative works. I was always really bold, and in my tattoo apprenticeship, there was like a point where I found myself really struggling with like fine lines. Like I was really bad at this. I was really bad also at realism. And my mentor back then, he was like, Laura, you really need to learn this. Like, you really need to train this. So I needed to do it. And I really started like from the zero. And I was just like trying to do like fine line and script and things like that, and like smaller realism pieces. And over the time, I just started to combine everything that I learned, basically, because I felt like from every style that I learned, I took something with me that I really liked, and I just wanted to combine everything together, basically.
Amazing. And how did you come into the industry? How did you start tattooing? Like you said, you had an apprenticeship, a mentor.
Yes. Actually, it was. This is a super long story, but how I came to the industry was actually by accident. Like, I never wanted to be a tattoo artist. I was always doing art like all my life, basically, but I never. This is also interesting because I never really saw myself an artist, and I never saw myself really belonging in a way. Like, I always felt like it's not my thing, like wherever I was going to. And eventually I came to a point where I even said, like, maybe it's not for me.
Oh, really?
Maybe this is not my thing. Yeah. When I started studying graphic design and illustration, I found myself that I really loved doing like sketching and really meaningful works and things like that. And I just couldn't find like comfortable in like this advertisement and things like this, you know? And I was like, okay, maybe it's not for me. And eventually I came to a point where I even felt like I'm really burned out by this. Like, I'm not excited anymore by this. So I actually started to turn away from this completely. And I started working a long time in like service industry. And also I started working with like in healthcare with like handicapped people, paralyzed people, things like this.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, it was really
That's
crazy.
amazing.
Yeah. But, you know, like all these jobs were incredibly difficult and incredibly hard. And I was also not really happy with it. So at one point I was like, okay, maybe I should give this a little bit more try. Maybe I should try again to work in like an agency and things like this. And this job was like the worst job ever. Like, this job took everything from me. It was like the most toxic
In the
environment
agency
ever.
or?
Yes. This was the worst ever. And during that time, a friend of mine came to me like super randomly and said like, hey, Laura, you can draw so good. Do you want to make a tattoo for me? Because I have a tattoo machine at home. And I was like, yeah, but I have no idea how to do this. And he was like, yeah, it doesn't matter. Just do it. I also did it myself, just like for fun. I was like, okay, like, let's do it. And back at this time, I was still in Cologne. Like, I'm originally from Cologne. And I was very connected in like a very big friend group. And he was part of this friend group. And after this, so many people came to me and said like, yeah, Laura, we heard you're now a tattoo artist. Like, please make a tattoo for me. And I was like, okay.
How were the tattoos? Were they good?
Yeah, and I just had like so many clients. I was like, oh my God, okay. I guess
were the tattoos any good?
No, they were all horrible. Like, I cannot recommend this at all. Like, it was the worst, like, honestly.
All right, nice.
Looking back at this, these are like tattoos that you see on Instagram where you say like, what the fuck is this? These were my tattoos.
So how did you make the
beginning.
change to this incredible artist you are now?
Oh, actually, I started doing this because back at this time I was like, okay, I don't want to work in this agency anymore. This is the worst. And I just canceled my job. Like, from one day to another, I just said like, I'm done. And then I was like, okay, now I just canceled, but I don't really have another option.
You had
like,
no plan B
no,
whatsoever.
I lost my job,
you
so
just
I
quit
don't
the
have
job.
income, nothing. And then I was like, okay, but I have this thing, but I don't know how to start it. Maybe this could be something, but I have no idea how to start this.
How old were you then?
I think I was like 23. Now I'm 30, but back then, like 7-8 years ago, something like that. And yeah, at this point I was like, this needs to work. Like, I need to find a way to make this work. And I think I've been to, like, this was an incredibly difficult time because I had no income, I had no money. And I've basically been to like every shop in Cologne, but no one would take me. Like I just received rejection after rejection after rejection. Not because I was bad. It was more like they didn't have like the capacity, or they didn't have possibility to teach me something. And at one point I was like very, very much discouraged, and I was like, okay, maybe it should not be. And I remember I went home, I got another rejection, and I went home to my best friend, and she was like, okay, Laura, let's just try one more shop. And I was like, okay, one more shop, we can try. And this shop actually said like, okay, I'll give you a chance. Like, I cannot really teach you something, but you have a space here, you can ask us questions, but this is like not really a mentorship, but for me, this was already like, okay, like this was a sign, like finally something happened.
Amazing.
It was so nice. And through this kind of like space, like people talk, things like this, a friend of mine reached out to me and said like, hey, a friend of mine is working in the shop, maybe this is for you. And he connected us. And that's how I found my shop where I started my apprenticeship.
Also in Cologne?
In Cologne, yeah.
And in the beginning, you were probably doing everything, right?
Yes.
Not concept style. So in the beginning.
No, everything.
And what made you, like, you learned how to fine line and script. You were pressured by, like I understand it, the biggest motivation for you was the financial crisis then, or like that you needed to make money,
basically.
Right?
But also because I really enjoyed this. The first time I felt like something started to excite me again, because I was doing art for such a long period of time. I was drawing on canvas, I was sketching, I did like digital drawing. I learned everything, but it came to a point where I was like, okay, I felt like my growth started to stop, so I started losing the excitement. And when it came to tattooing, it was like, wow, I can start learning to do art like in a completely new way. But I'm also working with people, and this was also something that gave me so much impulse, because I felt like I never had this crazy urge to create just from me. It was more like always like I felt the most influenced or the most inspired whenever I talked to people, and I could really realize something meaningful, or I could illustrate like a feeling or a moment or things like this. So for me, this was like something that really resonated with who I am and what I really love doing.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's very beautiful. I love that. And so basically you're tattooing for 8 years now, or
yes, 7 years.
7 years. I think I first met you in 2019. Probably.
Maybe.
Was it before Corona? Was it after the lockdowns? I'm not sure. I'm very bad with timing.
I'm also not sure, but around this time.
But when I met you, you already did the concept style.
Yes.
And when did you make the decision, or was it even like a decision, oh, this is the style I wanna be creative in, or I wanna develop?
Yeah, at one point at this time, I was still doing kind of like microrealism and fine line. It was not something together. And back then I came across like some profiles that really inspired me with this style. And I've never saw this style before. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like, I need to do this. Like, I want to do this so much. And I was really inspired by this. And then I just started to put both together and really like experiment and things like that. And yeah, later on, I still like changed so much again. And I really think that your own style is something that represents you as a person. So I also feel like that your style, when it's truly your style, it's also like developing with you, because you are changing over time.
Yes, and I think, in my opinion, like your style of tattooing, the concept style is in modern tattooing the most popular style right now, and so many people are trying to do it. So many people do a really bad job at this, and I hate to see it. And there's some artists that do an amazing job. And what is the most difficult about this style to me is make it your own and make it recognizable, that I see a tattoo and I can say, oh, this is a Linearnoire tattoo. And I think you achieved that by some certain details in your style. It's the contrast, it's the ratio of the sizes, how you position the tattoos, and sometimes it even looks like you use opaque gray, but you don't. But it has this super smooth fades in the shading, and you immediately see it. It's super soft. I love it.
Thank
You
you
do a
so
really
much.
great job, and but it's also like the most copied style because a lot of
Yes, yes.
clients ask for this style. A lot of tattoo artists just like take random pictures of the internet and recreate it, copy it, and reproduce it. How you feel about that?
I think in general, I think it makes me a little bit sad though. I mean, I understand that you want to follow trends, that you want to make your client happy, things like this. But I think it's just so sad because we all have something so much unique to us, and we all have like the possibility to create something that was never there before, but we choose to do something that we think we should do to make other people happy. And I think it's just sad. And for me, this is actually bad art, because for me bad art is like, art itself is like the expression of yourself. And if you're not expressing yourself, if you just pick some Pinterest picture or the work of someone else, this is not your thing. So you're basically stealing something, which is basically bad art then, because it's not coming from you.
And what role in your creative process does the client play? Like,
For me, the client has a very important role, because I see this as a collaboration. I see this as teamwork. And I also need the client to really work with me. And it's really important for me also that the client feels seen and understood. And I basically start always with like a very long consultation appointment. Like I sit down with the client. I really want to get to know the client. I want to understand like from his perspective, what's the idea about, because most of the time it's very meaningful topics. So I really want to dive into this and don't want to cut him short or to cut them short. And just give them time and space to express themselves. And in this appointment, we already make like a small sketch together. And then the next phase is basically that I go into this like by myself, and to just like work on the design couple more days, sometimes like 2 to 3 more days on my own, until I feel comfortable with it. And then before the appointment day, we come together again. We talk about everything together again, maybe make changes, things like this. And then the next day we actually start working together.
that's amazing. So there is like
Yeah.
a lot of preparation before the actual
Yes.
tattoo,
Yes.
because every artist works differently, and it's always a different creative process. And especially in our niche, or like in our bubble of industry, we treat tattoos as real art. Also, every tattoo I got, I went to an artist which style I just admired, and I was like, yeah, do whatever you want. And I really love the outcome. And what really resonated with me was when you said, oh, there was something new, and I felt the excitement to do it, and it motivated me. And I felt the same in the tattoo industry for a lot of times, but I also felt the opposite, that the industry frustrated me, depressed me for because it became boring at some time, or
Yeah.
it became so repetitive, or it was just like the delusion of the culture, and like so many changes where nothing really happened. And on your recent Instagram posts and feed, you started to talk about like issues you have as an artist with social media, or like the industry. And this is like a huge important topic, because I think
Yes.
that post resonated with a lot of people, and I think you also got like super nice feedback on that.
Yes.
So, and maybe let's break it down a little bit and first talk about the impact of social media on tattoo industry and tattoo culture, and how you see that and or experience that.
So, why I'm actually talking about this is actually because I just feel like we kind of are like in a transition phase back from this like whole perfectionism, clean Instagram vibe where everyone is basically just showing their perfect work and everything seems to be so professional. I feel like we're now transitioning also with TikTok and things like that more into like a authentic kind of way where you have the possibility also to show yourself, to build like a personal brand. And I think that this is happening because tattooing became mainstream. Like we have more and more artists doing this style, and it's getting more and more difficult to really outstand and present yourself because there's just like so many artists coming and coming. And I think right now it's so important that you, start to really show who you are. And I've met so many amazing artists like on guest spots and things like this. And every time I thought like, man, you're so amazing, but no one knows this. This is like such a pity. It's so sad that no one knows this, you know? And people were so kind and so chill. And in my perfect world, I would love to see everyone just being themselves, just showing themselves authentically and doing and yeah, their style that is truly unique to them. This is like my approach, my perfect vision of how things are.
You think that's realistic?
I'm not sure. It's just that I feel like when I can play like a little part in this, you know, like to change the industry, maybe a little bit, maybe even kind of like try to share some of my experiences also to like rising artists, like to younger artists maybe, that just step into the industry, because I feel like I just call it like generation is really like impacted from this like older traditional kind of mindsets still, where where you also just like need to grind and hustle the whole time, and no one shows like anything vulnerable and things like this. And I would just love to see more realness in social media and more authentic content.
But I think it's also starting to change in that direction.
Yes, that's true.
Because I think, in my opinion, like how I saw it was that with the rise of social media and the rise of modern tattooing, fine line, contemporary styles, we gathered this whole new market of normal people who then saw fine line tattoos and were like, oh, this is a tattoo. I really like that. And so you had this massive new market for tattoo artists, and like it was a crazy gold rush boom before Corona.
Yes.
And then during the lockdowns, there's so many shops opened, so many artists or tattooers joined the industry, and then it got diluted like really quick. And the thing about tattoos, because I always try to compare the industry, the tattoo industry, to music industry or fashion industry, because in my opinion they have like the same mechanics. It's pop culture, it's working with people, it's working with trends and the zeitgeist, because as an artist it's always your own interpretation of the time being, and this influences you. And I think people are fed up with like this perfect narrative, everything is super clean, everything is super excited. And it also, because actually it's really important that we become more transparent with every struggle and show a personality behind the tattoos, because when we talk about art and we want to give people access to the mind and to the art itself, and to relate to the art and understand why we create something in a certain way, it's very important to give this extra depth into your thoughts and like into the person who you are. Because I think in the future, clients who are interested in high quality tattoo work and in art will decide on their artist based on the work, the style, but also on the personality. If I can resonate with you, if I like you, if I want to have a piece by you for the rest of my life.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, especially this. I think this is so important that you say this because I feel like that's the only way that we can really find, like as artists, really can find our clients that truly resonates with us. It's like the only possibility to get the right clients is to make authentic art, to show yourself authentically. Because if you're not showing yourself authentically, if you're doing a style that you maybe don't even like just because you think it's trendy right now or whatever, you will be so miserable by this because I think it just feels like you're basically living a lie, or you're basically like a slave. You're doing something that you don't really like, that you think you have to do. And I think like the ultimate goal should be like you go every day to your job that you love so much, that you're excited about, like that doesn't feel like it's a job. That feels like I don't know, like a lifestyle, like you, basically.
That's beautiful. I wanna go back to the excitement.
Yeah, please.
Do you still feel excited about tattooing?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Because I think with tattooing, you just never stop learning.
Mm-hmm.
It always has something new to it. And I love this job so much because it forces me to step out of my comfort zone, like over and over and over again. And I really see tattooing as like this whole self-development journey. I think it's really a gift and really like an invitation for you to grow and to become like like your true self.
Do you have
I
an
think it's
example?
super. Say it
Like,
again. Sorry.
do you have an example about like stepping out of your comfort zone?
Yeah.
What do you
So
mean by
what
that?
I'm doing right now here is stepping out of my comfort zone because no, because I have really bad like social anxiety. I have really bad like anxiety about like being filmed, talk to camera, things like this. And I just started doing these like little clips because I felt like, okay, I have something important to say, but I felt like it's limiting me because I was always like, no, I cannot show myself because maybe people will judge me, or maybe I say something bad, or I look bad, or people will think this about me. And at one point I was like, you know what, actually it doesn't matter, because what I have to say, maybe people can really benefit from this. Maybe people really will be inspired by this, and it wouldn't be even fair to them to hold like information back or experiences back. Maybe I can really help someone with that.
And what would you like to talk about, or what are you talking about on the clips?
I would love to talk a lot about like vulnerable topics, like maybe some difficulties in your career, things that are not going as planned, maybe even mistakes, uncomfortable things. I think it's important that we talk about these things.
What would be
Mental health, things like that.
okay, mental health? Like
Yes.
this is a huge topic, of course,
Yes.
especially with artists, because there's so many factors that maybe manipulate your mental health, or like that you depend on, especially in social media, especially as an artist, when you put up your work and it doesn't get recognition, it doesn't get the likes, it doesn't get the shares, or
Yes.
as an artist, if you don't get the bookings in your style, if you don't make enough money, there's like so much pressure.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
I think that's a really important topic.
It's a really important topic, and because I think for me this is like really something that's coming from my heart, because also when I talk to younger artists, I see how much they're struggling, not because of the technique, they're struggling because of the mindset, because they think they need to have everything figured out already, they are not allowed to make mistakes, they have all this like huge pressure on them. And I think because we're not talking about this and everyone is just showing that they're perfect, we think that only we are struggling with this. It's me, something is wrong with me. And I think like I met so many artists, and I just feel like it doesn't matter where you are in your career. If you have 1 million followers or if you have like 20 followers, we all struggle with the same things, and no one is better than the other person. We're all the same.
What is
You know?
something everybody, like a lot of people, struggle with?
I would say, especially this like pressure of always being perfect,
Mm-hmm.
never allowed to make mistakes, always show up, pressing down your own needs, like not listening to yourself, or you think that you need to be some kind of person or you need to become something rather than to look inward. Basically, I think this is huge. And yeah, also like self-doubt, also like this, how it's called again, I forgot this term, imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome, this is huge. Yeah, these things.
I think this is such an interesting topic because I totally agree with you, and in some parts, I agree on the same point where I kind of disagree because you're absolutely right about like listening to yourself and like taking care of your own needs as well. At the same time, we are talking about achieving success in a hard industry right now that is very competitive, that is like changing a lot right now, and this change decides on where you're going to be with your own personal career. That's why my opinion on that is also okay. It will separate like the ones who belong there in like on this top tier level and the ones who not.
I don't think so, actually. So just imagine you have like two incredible, crazy realism artists. One of them, like the same kind of level, like the same kind of professionalism. One of them just show their tattoos, and one of them shows their journey, why they're doing these things, their approach, maybe some struggles, and you can really feel connected to their personality. Who would you choose? Where would you go? You would
Probably the second one.
Probably the second one, yeah. I think this is something that makes you truly unique, where people can actually resonate with you and connect with you. And I think that this is like essential to, yeah, to connect to your client.
But this is my point. Like, I see it the exact same way because the artists that did the videos and like talked about the style and everything put in more work. Like, I'm not counting hours. It's never about how many, like, basically it's about how many hours you put in, but it's not necessarily, because the more hours you put in, you become better and then you don't need to do as much anymore. But in today's time, especially for young artists, for new artists, there's so much you have to do. There's so much you have to take care of to stand out in this market, and also like to make your art seen. Like you can see it as pure art, you can see it as a service to tattoo people, you can see it as a business. It doesn't matter like which motivation it is. You need to grab people's attention to get recognized in any way.
Yes, I think this is also super interesting because I think the answer to this is not that we chase something or that we say like, here, like, look at me. I think that you need to create something. Let's say that you there's this like super nice metaphor that you say like, how can you catch a butterfly? You're not running after the butterfly and say like, come here. You basically make like a garden and you build like all the flowers that look so beautiful and you water them, and then all the butterflies come to you. And I think it's the same with tattoo business. I think you really need to position yourself. You need to show like who you are as a person. What are your thoughts on this? What do you think is important? All of these things, and then the client will come to you. I think this is the right approach to see these things.
Yeah, I think we're still on the same page because this is still the same opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I just describe it as like, okay, you need to build the garden, but building the garden is like hard work.
Yes.
And a lot of people in the industry are like, no, I don't want to build a garden.
Yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem because I think the issue here is we're so used to only posting like once a week, only our tattoo work, because tattooing is already like a full-time job. It's fucking hard. And now we need to do all of these things, like on top of that we need to do like filming, and we don't like to be filmed, like we don't like to talk about to talk in the camera and things like this. But I actually see this as, because like I said, like I see tattooing not as a job, I see this like as a self-development journey. And I see this as like an invitation to grow, to step out of your comfort zone. Because why this is so uncomfortable? Because you're used to this. Like here you're comfortable, and now you need to do something that is not comfortable, and this sucks. But I think it's nice, because when you manage to step over your limitations, then you see that you don't have any limitations anymore, and this is incredible. If you made it out of like to the other side, and you can see like, oh my god, like now nothing holds me back anymore, this is like incredible.
Was there a
It's
certain
so
point where
nice.
you realized that?
I think when I started to make videos,
Yeah. Nice.
because it was such a limitation for me. I was so afraid. I was so afraid I was terrified. Like whenever people filmed me, things like this, I was always like this, or I wanted to make sure like, like I look good and things like that. And now I just feel like I can talk so much freely, so much more open, and nothing really holds me back. And I have so many more possibilities just to be in this podcast and to talk with you. Like I wouldn't have this opportunity beforehand.
Thank you for being here. And do you have like, because like when we talk about the future of the tattoo industry,
Yes.
before we talk about the future of the tattoo industry, do you have a vision for yourself where you see yourself as an artist in like 5 years or something?
Yes. Actually, I have some really exciting projects coming up.
Oh,
And I don't know how much I can say so far, but right now I'm really love to explore more into this like mentoring, teaching kind of direction. I started just like sharing more of my journey, because I used to struggle like so much on my journey. And whenever I talk to like younger artists, or like let's call them rising artists, they were like, "Oh, really? I thought you everything is perfect in your life." And I was like, "No, like it's actually the opposite. Like everything was like chaos. And still, I managed to become like a successful artist. And I think this is like a very powerful message. And I would just love to talk about this more, and to inspire people, and to say like, hey, maybe you're struggling right now, but I've been there, and trust me, you will make it out of that. And like really supporting younger artists, and really make them start to believe in themselves. I think this is so important, and I think that this is something that really fulfills me, because I feel like I can give something back, and I can become like a person that I would have needed when I started tattooing, because I felt like I didn't really had someone where I could look up to, or where I felt like this person resonates with me. Because back then I was when I started tattooing, also as a woman in this field, I just had like male role models, and I never really fit into something, and I never really felt like I belong somewhere. So yeah, I would just love to talk about this more. This is something that really fulfills me, and I'm working on some projects where I really want to help others.
that's amazing. Oh, I'm super excited. You have to tell me later.
Yes.
I'm so excited. Being a woman in the tattoo industry, you think it was like harder as a woman?
Yeah,
Describe
I
your
think so.
experience, or like your point on this.
So I think so when I started tattooing, I was in a shop where there were only men, and of course, like they want to help you, they want to support you, and everything they know. They can only help you from a male perspective, because that's all they know, right? So all the advice that I got was from a very male perspective, but I never felt like this is something that truly resonates with me, because I felt like my body works differently. I have different needs. I'm thinking differently. I feel differently. And everything they told me created so much pressure on me.
But do you have an example? Because
Yeah,
I
of
cannot
course. Of course. For
really
example,
relate.
So, for example, when it comes to like women, we have a completely different cycle, right? We have different energy levels. Our energy level is like really spread into like the whole month. So we have like 2 weeks where we have a lot of energy and like 2 weeks where we have basically no energy. And with when it comes to men, it's way more stable. Like they have this over the day,
You think?
basically. So men are wired to work hard, to be disciplined. They can wake up every day, go to the gym, and like hustle. But women cannot do this, and it creates so much pressure on women because we are not wired the same way. Like we have, like at least when it comes to me, like I was I was always like a very emotional person, like a very sensitive person, and every time I felt like I need to press down my emotions, and I was not allowed to express myself. Every time it was like, you're too emotional, you need to stop that, you need to keep going, you need to keep hustling and things like this. And eventually I came to a point where it started to be so destructive because I was basically pressing down all the time and pretending like I'm fine and I can keep going, but inside I was like dying basically.
But men are the same.
Men are the same.
Yes. Definitely.
I see, that's true. Like I see this a lot of times also when it comes to men, that men create so much pressure on themselves to hustle and things like this. But I feel like that whenever you see like business advice also online, it's always like this, yeah, you need to keep hustling, you need to do more and push more and this and that. And I think it creates so much pressure,
Oh, it does.
right? And I think, I don't know why, but I always feel like I started to projecting this on me, and I started to internalize this and ask myself like, okay, what's wrong with me? Why can't I do this? He has like so much energy, but I feel like crap. Like, what's wrong with me? Like this.
Like, I mean, I totally get your point. I'm just like, from my point of view as like working in this industry for 20 years, starting with nothing, just doing it out of excitement and to see what can happen and just follow my heart, because I never planned any of this where Mommy I'm Sorry or Culture Over Money is now. But at a certain point, I had so much responsibility towards myself, my family, my friends, my team, that failure was not an option anymore, because so many people are depending on my work, on my vision, on
Yes.
my direction, that I make the right decisions and anticipations and the right moves. And of course I make mistakes sometimes, but like the pressure is that I know everybody's counting on me. And I also have like days where I don't get out of bed. Like I fought depression. I was like mentally in dark places because, yeah, it was just a lot. But
Absolutely, yeah.
I was never like how I grew up. Like maybe it's mentality, maybe it's culture, whatever. But I grew up as like, yeah, shut the fuck up, go on. You want to achieve this or not?
Exactly.
And
This is what I'm talking about. It's like
the-
this very masculine kind of like advice. You know what I mean?
yeah, sure. But
It's coming like more from men. I think a woman wouldn't say this. I think a woman wouldn't say like, yeah, you just need to shut the fuck up and just keep going.
yes, that's true.
That's the
true.
thing, a
But-
woman would say like, yeah, okay, I understand you and it's okay.
But in my
to feel like
opinion, at the
this.
same time, if you want to succeed, it's basically what you need to do.
I think the answer is not to work harder. I think the answer is to really work smarter and to build systems that work for you rather than against you. I think this is a very big topic.
Yeah, okay. I see your point.
Because you cannot build a business like this, because if you just ignoring your own needs, if you keep pushing and like you just keep on hustling, at one point you will start to have burnout and then nothing.
Oh, I had like 4 of them.
Exactly. And at one point you will just like everything will collapse. And this is not sustainable, and this is also not healthy in my opinion.
Oh, that's so interesting. That's so
Yeah,
interesting. Yeah, it's
but
also. No, what did you want to say?
I just wanted to come back to this like whole female
Yes, let's go.
artist thing. Like one more thing, I just remember that there were a lot of times, especially with clients, where my professional abilities were questioned. Where people were asking me like, "Oh, are you actually able to do that? Like, are you sure that you should
Really?
be like this?" Yes,
But I
yes,
saw your
yes.
work.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of times. There were situations, especially with men, where I was like drawing and they like took my pen and they draw it themselves. I was like, okay, do you want to make your tattoo now?
Really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was crazy.
That's so stupid.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of times, and it's like a very triggering and very degrading experience. Yeah, and a lot of times, especially when I was still like a younger artist, I was just like swallowing it, and I was like, okay, like whatever. But like from this perspective, I would say like that's not
But it
okay.
still happens.
It still happens, yeah.
But they choose
Yeah.
you as an artist and they book with
They
you.
choose me as an artist. Sometimes it's also like they step a lot over my boundaries when I say like no, I don't want to do this. Like they keep on pushing, which is also not okay. And I don't know why, but I'm sure that other women in business will understand this problem. But it's just something that I've noticed in yeah in my job.
And I see. Because I can, I think I can relate. Not relate, but understand your point of view. Because there's always, of course, the discussion between men and women, especially in the tattoo industry, because it's a very male-dominated industry, and
Yeah.
it evolved from the biker clubs and the
Yeah,
motorbike
yeah.
club mentality, which is really hard and outlaw and
Yes.
because I saw a lot of artists, of course, now in social media times, saying like, "Oh, you just have to be a pretty girl to get like the attention, and then you show off your
That's
work."
the thing. That's the thing. I think women are a lot of times like reduced to this, and to be taken seriously, they a lot of times need to kind of like prove themselves.
They what?
They need to prove themselves. I feel like this, to not only be like seen as like this little girl, you know. Like I think it takes more of us to kind of like be seen as equally in the industry. At least this is like the experience that I made in in the tattoo industry.
And did it have any effect on like your work or your career or your personality even?
At one point, I would say yes, because it just made me learn how to listen to myself and how to set boundaries and how to position myself. And a lot of times where men actually also attacked me.
What? How do
Like
you mean?
not physically, but like I would say like whenever I was doing good work, they found things to say, like some comments. Always like these comments, you know, like I don't know, to say like, yeah, but why are you using so many needles? Or yeah, like yeah, you're working too slow, or you're doing this, or things like this, you know. And I was always like swallowing this up to a point where I was like, okay, now I'm gonna say something, and then it came out very strong. But yeah, it's difficult, and I would say like nowadays I don't try to be so hard, you know. Like nowadays I want to show more of my like vulnerable side, because I always felt like I need to be so guarded, like I need to protect myself. But now I started to kind of like let this go, and I started to feel like this is really working well, and to just communicate, and also to say like, also with clients, and to say like, hey, listen, today I really don't have social battery, so maybe I will not talk a lot. And they're like, oh yeah, of course, no problem, and things like
Oh,
this.
crazy.
Yeah, rather than to be like aggressive and say like,
Yeah.
yeah, like go away.
Yeah, because
You know?
it's so
Yeah.
I love working with people, and I'm not a tattoo artist. I'm just like doing everything around it, but it's so it can be so like energy draining to talk to people every day, to meet somebody
Yeah, absolutely.
new, and it's always a deep personal interaction, because sometimes your clients get a tattoo for a certain reason, and sometimes it's a tragic reason. They lost somebody close, maybe just recently, maybe it's a very sad story and they tell you about it, and like
Yeah.
you act as a therapist at the same time, right?
Yes, yes, kind of. Sometimes, yeah. But to be honest, I love talking about these things. I think I love to connect with people on like a deeper level. I think it's so much interesting, like to hear their perspective or their experiences. And sometimes, whenever they are open with me, sometimes I'm so impressed. I'm like, wow, you're such an incredible person. Like I would have never expected this, that you've been through this, and I'm so grateful that you share this with me, and I'm so honored to do this tattoo for you. So it makes me feel actually really fulfilled in these moments. I never felt like it's too much, or it makes me uncomfortable actually, because I'm just very interested in people. Like I love hearing stories from people and get to know people. This is something that really interests me and excites me. I think it's more difficult if I cannot have like or cannot find a vibe with someone, and it's like really difficult to have a conversation with someone, because I love to talk during the appointment actually. Yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah,
No, I love that. And let's go back to the question about the industry, or like the future,
yeah.
because I'm
Please,
so
please.
curious about where everything is going. And I think everybody in the industry is like asking themselves the same question. How do you think everything will develop? Where will it lead to? How will it be in a couple of years?
Oh, that's so interesting. Um, I think now, because of these changes, like so many artists came, and I think now a lot of artists also will yeah, get out of the game, I would say. Like they say like, okay, maybe it's too much for them, which is really sad. But I think this is what will happen eventually. And I think also that we're going really more into this like more authentic kind of way. Yeah, I think this is really the future, also with TikTok and things like that.
Yeah, I think you're totally right, because a lot of shops will close down, need to close down. A lot of tattooers will leave the industry
Yeah.
again, especially when they joined just for making money, or they thought, oh, it's fucking cool. Also, I'm so curious, because sometimes when I look at the industry, when I look at my friends all over the world, at artists, and I'm like, guys, what the fuck are you doing? Like, trust me. Listen,
Yeah.
especially like, because we all love life, and we all like just love traveling and doing crazy shit and hang out together. But especially as tattoo art, as independent tattoo artists, recently I start asking everybody, what will you do when you're 50, 60, 70? How will you take care of your future? Do you invest your money somewhere, or what is your plan? Because you cannot tattoo forever,
Yes.
or maybe something happens, or you know,
Yes. Absolutely.
and nobody thinks about that.
Yes. That's true. That's true. Like this was always like something on my mind. That's why I always try to find ways. Especially like, of course, I need to think about these things as a woman. One day, maybe I want to have family. Maybe I cannot work anymore. And I always was like trying to find ways to earn money without actually working, because because otherwise it's just a job, right? It's not a business, it's a job. And if I cannot work, then I'm not earning money, which is bad, because it's like such a high risk. And whenever we have like maybe injuries or whatever, we're not earning money. So for me, it was always very important to find a way to earn money passively. So that's why I was also thinking to go like more into this like teaching kind of area, and to really mentor people, support people, teach people in the industry. And maybe, I don't know, have my own studio or something like this. But I'm seeing myself more into the position of like a teacher or a mentor.
That's amazing, because I talked to a lot of people in the industry about this topic, and basically,
Yes.
first, in my opinion, it depends on this connects to the topic we had earlier about like, oh, working hard and like how to succeed, because what is success to you? First you need to identify like, what do you want in life? What do you want to be happy? Because for some people it's running a shop, owning a shop. For some it's not. It's I met so many artists who thought, for example, oh, I need to run an own shop.
Yeah.
And then they did and they hated it.
Yes.
Or
Yes. Yes.
people just like worked so much because they thought, oh, I need to make as much money as possible. And then they were
Yeah.
like, okay, fuck, now what? I didn't do this, I didn't do that. So I think, first of all, it's very important to have an idea about yourself and where you want to go with your personal life
Yes.
without anyone's opinion, without social's opinion, without the opinion of your friends and family. You need to figure out what does make you happy. How do you want to live your life?
This is so important. This is so important that you say this. I think we really need to listen to ourselves and to build a life around what we truly enjoy and not what we think we should do, because then you end up having a shop because you think you need to earn a lot of money and you need to hustle, but then you're like, no, actually I don't like this. Actually, I want to have my family, or I only want to travel, or whatever. I think this is very important that we think about this.
And yeah, this is also very important about like the advice thing, because giving advice is one thing, receiving advice is the other thing. But to understand who gives the advice and who receives the advice,
Yes.
this is actually the point. Because from my point of view, I want to build something culturally important. I want to influence people's lives. I want to shape this industry and I want to shape this culture. And I see myself, like I've been developing this for 20 years and I see myself like developing it more and working with people, creating more interesting ideas and shaping the culture. And this is my definition of success. If I helped building something that lasts longer than me and also like influences other people's lives and helps
Yes.
them to grow. But this is the point of view where I give advice from. This is why I say, okay, just either you go hard or you don't. Then
Yeah,
just
yeah,
don't do it at all.
I
But
understand.
if this is not your goal, then my
Yes.
advice in this case is meant worth nothing to you. Because if your goal is just to maybe focus on creating the art and, let's say, making enough money to cover all your costs, but you don't spend a lot of money and you just like focus on drawing and this makes you totally happy and this is the place, then I just have a different point of view. And then
Absolutely, absolutely. I think if you're coming from a place of like excitement and you're like, man, I love to hustle, like I want to do this every day, of course you will never be burned out because you're so excited to do this. I think it only comes if it's coming from a place of like scarcity mindset and you need to do this or whatever kind of pressure, then you start to feel like burned out. Then you start to feel like, okay, this is destroying me. And I think the question is really like to find something to reach your goal without destroying you, because this is not a sprint. It's like a marathon. It's like what you're doing for the rest of your life, and you need to find a lifestyle that is like sustainable. Also when it comes to like, I don't know, when you're like a traveling artist and every time you're just like on the road, you're eating bad, you're partying, you're drinking the whole time, how much long you want to do this, right? So at one point you need to see like, okay, like is this really sustainable, or maybe maybe go into another direction with this.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I also think it's the most important thing is like to understand your goal also, like to really outline your goal as detailed as possible, that you know
Yes.
where you're going, because then the steps to the goal are like super clear, because a lot of times people just don't know what to do. And now you have so many options of what to do and you go in so many directions because you have FOMO and you think you need to do everything and this overwhelms you maybe.
Yeah.
But as soon as you set your goal really clear, for example, Like it can be also super basic. You can say, oh, I want to be a great tattoo artist. I want to do realistic tattoos on
Yeah.
a high end level, and I want 100,000 followers. So then you know, okay,
Yeah.
where's my skill level? Maybe here. I want to be here.
Yeah.
Then I try to learn this, book some
Uh-huh.
seminars or whatever, or and you say, oh, I want 100,000 followers. Then you know, okay, I have to create content that gains
Yes.
followers.
I think what is also really important here is that you define a goal, or that you try to understand why you're doing these things. Like, why do you have this goal? Because when you don't have this, and then, for example, you don't have the results, the numbers will drop, you have no clients, because these things will come. Because this is not something stable. Like, growth is not like this. You know, it's always like this. So you need to have something that keep going, because otherwise you're gonna have depression, right?
So why are you doing it?
Sorry.
Why are you doing it?
Why am I am doing it? I think I'm doing it to connect with people. I'm doing it to grow, to express myself, and to support others.
Now I'm gonna be tricky. Why
Okay.
you want to connect with people? Why you want to grow?
Oh, why I want to grow? I think one of my biggest fears always was looking back at my life and see that I have not changed at all. That I was the same person for like 10, 15 years and nothing has changed. Like, this would be my nightmare. Like, you know, these people who live like the whole life in one small village and they still live with their parents and they still do the same job. For me, this would be like a nightmare. Like, I need change. Like, I don't know why, but I'm not wired to have repetition. Like, I get bored. Like, I need to have this. And a lot of times I found myself in situations where I was like, man, I just want peace. Like, I don't want to change again, you know, like, I just want to chill. But every time I chilled, I was getting nervous again. I was like, no, like, I need to do something again. Like, yeah.
But why did you get nervous? Because you thought you're missing something, or that you thought you're not doing enough, or
I think I want to take as much as I can from this life that I got, and I want to learn as much as I can. And I always felt like so much excitement in like learning things. I don't know why. It gives me some kind of like good feeling about myself, probably.
amazing,
Yeah.
amazing.
Uh-huh.
If you would start tattooing today, how would you do it? Like, what would you
Oh,
do?
that's a good question. What would I do? I think I would probably practice on fake skin. Yeah, not on the friends, please, guys. I would practice on fake skin until I'm feeling ready. I would learn like all the basics first, like the needles, the machines, everything about this, and then when I feel like 100% ready, maybe start on myself, maybe start on friends. But I would before this I would also try to make like a portfolio kind of thing, maybe online, already doing some kind of like social media work, and then maybe apply in studios or things like that.
But how would you? Let's pretend you're already like good. You can tattoo, like you don't suck. But there's like 100,000 other tattoo artists. What would your advice be to somebody who just starts out? Like,
Oh, my biggest advice is to try to find out who you really are and what your unique style is, because this is something that no one else has, and the people are there. And when you truly express yourself, you will find the right people, and the right people will come to you. So it can actually be anything. And I think it's really important that we start already reflecting on this, like at a very early point, and to really ask ourselves, like, do I really enjoy this? Like, what about thin lines? Do I prefer thick lines? Do I like shading? What about this style? Maybe I combine two styles that I really like and create something completely new. And I think it really goes like more into this like direction of being incredibly unique. I think this is like where the industry is going to.
This is a super, super good advice. This is a really good advice. I would love to add something to it.
Please, go ahead.
Because talking about followers, it creates this false illusion that you need to have a certain amount of followers to be booked or to be good or to be whatever.
No.
And to make this very clear to every artist out there who is already good, like you need to accept if you're not good. If you suck, you have to practice. But if you're already good and you're scared about like followers and whatever, like you said, the key is be unique and to resonate with a certain group of people that understands your work and your art. Because basically the year has 52 weeks. So if you work 4 days a week tattooing, not designing, whatever, this is already a lot. So then you have some holidays. Let's say it's 48 weeks, 48 times 4. So it's roughly 200 clients a year that book maybe a full day session.
Yes.
If it's not a full day session, if you do smaller pieces and you take 4 clients a day, then it's 800 clients. So somewhere between 200 and 800 per year, not counting repeating customers that collect tattoos or get multiple tattoos from you. So this is super doable because it's when you go with the 200, it's less than 20 people a month, like less than 20 clients a month that you need to reach or like need to book. So you don't need 300,000 followers, 500,000 followers to achieve that. You
Not
need
at all.
just like the certain style that resonates with that people and do good work and create a good experience.
Absolutely. Do you know these like artists that working with like these huge body suits and things like that? They probably have like 10 clients who just like come to them all the time, and they always have work, but they only have 10 clients. That's all. And I think this is really like how this works. You don't need a lot of clients. But of course, if you're doing like maybe like small tattoos and things like this, of course you need like more and more coming. Or I don't know, maybe you're just like a nice person and people say like, I want to come to you and please do my whole body, you know? I think this whole part of like being unique is so important, because whenever people come to me and have like their first consultation, the first thing they say to me is always like, I talk to so many artists, but only you are doing this. That's why I book with you. Only you take so much time with your clients. And I never saw this with someone else. Or only you are working so bold and I love this. Everyone's just doing this, but you're doing that and I love it. And I think this is so important that you find like, maybe you can do trend motifs, but do it your own way. You know, like pick a rose, pick a lion, whatever, but do it your way.
You mean not just taking it from Pinterest, how it is?
Yes. Yes. Man, this is crazy. Especially in this like concept side, there are like some references that are just taken over and over and over and over again. And when clients come to me and they say like this, I'm like, no, I don't take this, because I see this like 1 million times already on Instagram. And I always like try to make like my own twitch to this. And sometimes I'm also not using AI or things like this. Like I'm not a big fan of AI. I always try to like basically like merge like different images together. Sometimes I make a stager and I say like, okay, I take this arm and I take this head and I take this hair and I just put it together and make it work.
That's amazing. Why are you not a big fan of AI? I think it's amazing.
I think you can see it. I can always see it when it's AI. It's too perfect. It's too clean. It doesn't have a lot of contrast. It's not interesting. I think I can always see it if it's like, for example, faces. I see something is off. It's not natural. Like it doesn't look good, in my opinion.
I mean, to use it as a tool, not to create the whole design with AI, because this is, guys, don't do that. This is not art.
No.
But
this is
talking about, for example, lions, you want to integrate a lion into your design, and you already used all the Pinterest lions, all the Google lions, and now you ask Midjourney to, hey, I want this kind of lion, create me this, I want this look, this perspective. Then it gives you like the first reference, and then you maybe change it even a little bit if there is something off?
Yeah, if you can change it, then I would say yes. But if you just take it like completely already originally from AI, I think you can always spot it. And sometimes, like I saw this, sometimes I use like maybe like a position of something like as a base to model around it. But if you, sometimes it's so funny, you really need to have an eye on this, because sometimes, for example, you have stages and then they have like 6 fingers or they have like a third arm or things like this, you know? And some people, they don't see this. And I saw this sometimes in tattoos. I'm like, oh my God, like you don't see this? Like this guy has like 6 fingers. It's insane. Or they have like 3 nipples or things like
This
this.
industry. Like, I almost wanted to jump in when you said like, oh, if you can change it, and then I was like, yeah, if you consider yourself an artist, you should be able to change
Yes.
fucking something in the drawing if you don't like it.
Yes. Yes.
Brings me to my question, because I try to tell people there's a difference between tattooers and tattoo artists.
Oh my God. Yes.
Where do you see the line? Like, when does a tattooer become a tattoo artist?
Oh, so for me, a tattooer is someone who's really more focused on like the service part. Like client comes, client says, I want this, and they're just doing it like they want. Like they do the script, they do the basic line work things, you know. There's nothing really coming from them. It's more like a job, basically. And tattoo art is for me really something that represents you and really creates like something, yeah, something more to it. Maybe even tells a story. Maybe makes you feel something. I think art is all about emotions and connection and things like that. If you don't have this, I think it's not real art.
You think it's still possible in today's time to develop an own style, or is everything already been done?
I think it's possible. Yeah. I mean, there's still also like it's the same with music. Like I think a few years ago, people would say like, okay, I don't think that there will come like more genres or things.
Oh,
like
they've been
this.
saying this for the last 20 years in music.
Yeah, and there's still coming like more subgenres, and then this is coming up and like something crazy, or they merge things together, and it's always like developing. They're always coming like more things to this. Yeah. Yeah, I also see the same with tattooing.
Yeah?
I mean, just imagine like you just need to basically take like 2 styles together. The same with concept. You just take realism, fine line, boom, new style. Maybe you take like traditional, realism, boom, new style. Then this is, I don't know how it's called. You know?
I think the next big thing is micro thread, like traditional designs in fine line style.
I've seen this. Some people doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is a nice idea. I'm a huge fan of tribals coming back.
I think also like the technology will change. Also with like these robots and things like this, you know, like this whole thing, and they're like experimenting with like ink that will dissolve or change or control or things like this. You know?
There's a lot of stuff going on, and I'm super excited about all of that because it's huge steps. I'm not scared of this because there is this company Black Dot that created the tattoo robot that they set it up at Bang Bang for now. And I talked to the CEO, Joel, and he's like super invested in it, and he wants to create this. And I saw the works and the tattoos. It's so fucking crispy. The lines are so clean.
Really?
Yeah, it's only able to do like really small tattoos right now.
Yes.
And it takes still a lot of effort because it takes a lot of time to set the robot up. You take your design, you prepare the client. There's like a lot of things you have to take care of. It looks incredibly amazing, like super, super crisp.
Wow.
And but I saw a lot of comments, people saying like, oh, now they're gonna take our jobs and everything. And then I'm always like, first,
no, I don't
if
think
you're
so.
scared that a robot is taking your job as an artist, you're not a fucking artist. Like,
This is so true.
you
Oh
should
my
be
god. Yeah.
able to create something unique, because a robot you
Yeah.
still have to feed. And of course, I mean, now there are like still the spectrum of tattoo studios, shops, boutiques is like you have high end with crazy good artists, crazy experience, everything is nice, to the very low end where just tattooers take Pinterest designs, do it for really cheap money, the quality may be okay, maybe not.
Yeah.
And this is the industry, like, and people decide between these two extremes, like where they want to get tattooed. Oh, I want to have a piece of art, I want to have a certain artist, a certain experience, or I don't give a fuck and I just want to have like this Roman numerals right now.
Yes, yes,
And who does it the cheapest? Because a lot of clients, like most of clients who don't really get into the topic of tattooing, they don't see the difference anyway. Like they see, I've been doing this for 20 years, doing so many personal
Yeah.
consults, and people did not people came to me with two references, like, let's say, this crazy Phil Garcia rose, super realistic, bright colors, everything crazy,
Oh
and
my
like a
god.
jailhouse rose, and they're like, yeah, I
That's
want a
so
rose. And I'm like,
true.
yeah, but which one?
This is so
Like
true.
this or this? And
This
they're
is
like,
so true.
why? It's the same. I'm like, what the fuck is this? It's like you bring me a Ferrari and like a like a
Oh my god, this is so
broke
true.
down Volkswagen, you know?
People send me those references. They're like, I want to have this. I'm like, are you sure? Do you want this? Like, that's the worst tattoo I've ever saw.
Yeah, that's why it's very important for us as an industry
Yeah.
to keep educating the clients also, and to talk about this. I think I, I'm super thankful for everybody of our friends, and also you, that start talking about certain stuff, like the topic, whatever is on your mind. But I would love to see more people talking about like the difference of quality of tattoos, so people
Yes.
can really study it and understand it and see what makes a difference and make a qualified decision about what they want to get on their body, because sometimes they just don't know, and
Absolutely.
then they realize it 2 years later and they're like, oh fuck, I fucked up.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I see this a lot. Also, like this. This is something that is so triggering for me. Whenever I see like these debates online about like a price, you know, when they say like, oh no, this was too much. They paid too much for this, or things like this, or I would never pay so much money for this, and things like that. And I think we really need to educate people on that. But I think like these people that don't see the difference, I think it's like the same when
But
it
you know,
comes
I have a friend
to
who does it like for 200. It's legit, right?
this is the worst, honestly. No, this is the worst. I think they just care about like tattoo. They doesn't care about like how it looks. But I think they also don't respect their own body. Like they don't care about this.
Yeah,
They just want to
probably.
get a tattoo.
But that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah,
That's why
absolutely.
there's so many like cheap shops that just do whatever, and that's
Absolutely.
absolutely fine. If people want to get that, they should be able to get that. But talking about the price, tattoo prices vary from country to country, of course. Even for the same artist, I mean,
Yes.
like you charge different in New York probably than
Yes,
than
yes, yes,
here.
absolutely.
But what I would do as an independent artist right now, as a shop, I would not recommend it, because it's you carry too much responsibility. If I would be an independent artist without a lot responsibility, or I would take care that I reduce my responsibilities. Right now, I would do as much content as possible. I would triple my price. Like if my price would be 1,500 euro now, I would do 4,000, 4,500.
That's
I
a
would
huge step, yeah.
I would communicate that. But of course, you need to be a crazy good artist. Like if you're a shitty tattoo artist, this doesn't work.
Yeah.
So if you're a good artist, I would raise my price. I would communicate that. I would do a lot of content about my tattoos, about why I'm doing it, about me as a person. And of course, you will have less clients. But you will have like crazy clients, like that are super into your work,
Yeah.
that are like overwhelmed with it or like super invested in it, you would need less clients, of course, because you make the same revenue with a
Yes.
third of the clients, and you can put more effort into your work actually, and more into creating a meaning around it. But
Yes.
this only works if you're an independent artist, and I'm not sure if it would work in Germany. I'm sure it would work in the US, definitely.
Yes, definitely, definitely. I think in Germany, I mean, we have the luxury to use Instagram nowadays and to attract people from other countries. So, for example, people come fly to me from the US and get their tattoo and things like that. So, I think I wouldn't say also like these things like, yeah, it's the economy and things like this. The clients are out there. They just need to find their way to you, right? So, I think maybe I wouldn't I mean, I get what you mean. I probably wouldn't make the steps so drastically and to say like, okay, now I charge this, now I charge this. More like a gradually, like kind of transition. But it's so important, like you said, to position yourself and to show them why you have so much value. And I think for this, it's important that you see the value in your work first. Then you can start communicating it. Then you can start selling it and market yourself, and yeah, then you can build a very successful business around that.
I mean, you have 1 day consultation, then a couple of days designing, then another consultation, and then the actual tattoo. So there's a lot of work going into it. And also you have all the way before that you were actually able to tattoo this good, to create this design, to do something
Yes.
unique. And why I would change so drastically, guys, if you take this advice, it's on you, right? Like, I'm just AJ. But why I would change so drastically is like, because I think the transition, maybe it's even the better way, but maybe it's too much middle ground, because it's two different categories of clients. And if you attract people who are able to spend so much money, usually they also have like a really good sense of art if they spend so much money on a tattoo, and taste for quality. And those kind of clients, in my experience, they don't want the middle ground. If they see, oh, okay, not anybody can afford this, and this has a certain value to it, and you create a value around it, because this is what makes an artist, in my opinion. Or like one of the things that makes an artist is that you can create value out
Yes.
of the things you have. Like,
Yes, yes.
I have maybe this bottle and this table, whatever, and I create something meaningful out of it that has value to me, to somebody else who understands it. And then the more commercial you get, or the more mainstream and pop cultural you get, the more people you will attract with this. But yeah, there is no blueprint for this, and especially in tattoo culture, because nobody knows how to run a tattoo business actually, because we all just
No one
make
knows what they're
it up.
doing. Honestly. Yeah, this is so true.
We all just make it up as we go, and we come pretty far. I think it's a good job so far.
Man, and also like this industry is so young. It's so young, and it's still like developing. I think it's just started to be like even mainstream, and to be like it just arrived in like the reality basically, because it was so much long like this subculture, and now it just started to be seen and understood actually.
Amazing. Oh, it was such a great talk. Laura, do you
Yeah.
still have anything on your heart, on your mind, that you would like to talk about?
Ooh, let me think. Mm, yeah, I think one more thing would
Okay,
be
amazing.
important.
What is it?
One more thing. So, one more business advice I would like to give some people, because I think that a lot of times we see difficulties or like struggles as something negative, but I think a lot of times that these things are actually necessary. and it's like part of the process basically. I think that every time a struggle is coming, it's showing you that you basically need to redirect yourself. It's not something that is like something wrong about you. It's more like you changed, but the system where you're at right now is not resonating with you anymore. So, for example, you're doing a style and suddenly you don't like the style anymore and you're super frustrated with it. And the answer is not to give up tattooing. The answer is like to understand, like, okay, maybe I have changed as a person, but I'm still doing this style. So what can I do to close this gap, to make it more like resonating with me again? And I think this is also important when it comes to like things going wrong in your business, right? So maybe you're struggling with like getting clients or whatever, your social media, not, whatever it might be. I think it's important to ask yourself like, what can I learn from this, or what am I not seeing right now? What is actually happening right now? Because I think it's important that we start taking accountability and to say like, okay, this is something that I can change. Like I'm not a victim to my circumstances. You know, like this whole thing about yeah, it's the economy. I cannot change anything. I don't have clients. It's the economy. I don't think that this is true. I think the clients are out there, but there's something in your system that is not working and that is blocking the clients from coming in. And why I'm saying this is in my career there were a lot of times where I was unconsciously self-sabotaging myself without understanding it, and I was the whole time like, why is this not working? And eventually it came to a point where I wanted to give up even, because I thought maybe it's not working, maybe it's not for me. And I think that it's important that we start to reflect on ourselves, and then we start to learn and to see what's going on so we can actually change it. I think these things, these situations are super important for us to change direction, right?
Do do you have a personal example?
Yes, yes. Oh, this is actually super interesting. So, the past year, this is something really personal. So, but I still share it because I think it's important.
Thank you so much.
So the past year for me especially has been incredibly difficult because I was suffering from like very severe health problems. I have like autoimmune disease since I'm like a teenager, and whenever I've been through like a lot of emotional difficulties or even like traumatic things in my life, the symptoms got like really really bad because it's affecting like my hormones and my overall health basically. And back at this time, I found myself struggling a lot with like pressure that I need to be perfect all the time. This was like my belief basically that was running unconsciously in the back of my head. And a lot of times, whenever I was struggling with my health and I created this pressure, I started to have insomnia. I didn't sleep for like days sometimes.
Days.
There were months where I wasn't sleeping like maybe 2 hours a night. It was really, really, really heavy. And I just started to cancel people every time I felt like I cannot show up perfectly or I cannot make the best job that I can, because I feel like this is some kind of like respect to them, to my clients. So I started to cancel people or I started to reschedule people because I was so scared to make a mistake and to not be perfect. And this was really really bad for my business, and I started to lose so many clients, and it came to a point where I was not working for several months basically. So, and then it came to a point where I was struggling so much like financially and with the pressure and things like this, where I started to be like, okay, you know what, actually I don't have a choice. I will just do it. I will just work. Like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do it. And in this moment, I started to see I made a perfect tattoo with 2 hours of sleep, where I was like not sleeping before like a week or something like this. And I started to see like, okay, it doesn't matter what happened to me. I know deeply inside that I can still make an incredible tattoo and an incredible outcome. So, and then suddenly like this whole pressure started to be released because I started to have like this like self trust in me that whatever will happen around me, whatever will happen with me, around me, I can still show up, I can still make an incredible tattoo. And this made me completely free. So whenever something is going on right now, I just know that I don't need to worry.
Wow, crazy.
Yeah, and this started to change everything.
Thank you so much for sharing this.
You're
This is
very
amazing.
welcome.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, hustling is the key.
I'm not
Oh
sure.
my God. No, I'm
But I
just
think
kidding.
it's important to talk about these things.
Definitely. It's so
Right?
important. So important. Thank you so much.
You're very
Thank you so
welcome.
much.
Thank you so much for having me.
I have a gift for you. I have to
Oh my God.
I have to
What
bring
is it?
Give me a second. I run.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
we just released our new collection, the Cult collection.
Mm-hmm.
And every time we produce clothes, and now we're gonna put so much more work in it because we're taking it really seriously.
Oh my
And
God.
we have so many things lined up for the next months. And every time we produce something, it's very important to me to have something just for the team, just like for us, that it's not available for anybody else, that you have to be part of the fam. And this time it's the cap, like the Mommy I'm Sorry cap. People can buy it, but there's only for the fam the One of Us version, because
Oh my God.
the mantra
this
is
so cool.
you can either be one of many
Yeah.
or one of us.
Oh, this is so nice.
I'm so happy that you're part of the family. Thank you so much for the
Oh my
podcast.
God. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you so much. Oh my God, this is so funny because I was thinking to myself like, I want to have a cap, but I don't know where to buy it. I never tried it because I don't know if it looks good on me. I don't know if I have the right hairstyle right now, but it's so nice. Like it just came to the perfect point. I want
Amazing.
to- Oh my God, that's so cool.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you thank you for this talk. I think it was really, really good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too. Me
Guys,
too.
thank you so much for watching, and follow Linearnoire on all the socials, TikTok, Instagram, everything. Check Mommy I'm Sorry. We're super happy to do this podcast and do a lot of more stuff in the future. Guys, bye bye. Take care.
Thank you
Mwah.
so much.